Hey guys, so we're going to be going over Caesar 4.29. These are reports from Caesar about the Romans as they make their way through the Channel to Britain for the invasion. So, starting out here, we have nocte, which is an ablative of time when that can be translated to that night or anything like that. Um, Istus here, pretty important. It's used a few times. It's the spring tide, and it can just be used as tides or anything like that. And then consuevit, you have to bring all the way up here for this. Means the days we're accustomed to, consuevit, accustomed. And nostris here is dative, so nostris incognitum, unknown to our men. And these three lines here translate to, it happened to be a full moon that night, luna plena, full moon, which days were accustomed to very high tides in that ocean, which was unknown to our men. The next couple of lines here, starting out, uno tempore is an ablative of time when, and that would mean at the same time or at that time. And aistos compuerat, you have to bring up here. That's the tides filled the longships, or the warships. And then down here there are two gerunds, so those would be translated to managing and assisting. Now as a whole, these few lines mean, thus at the same time the tides filled the warships which Caesar had provided for the conveyance of his army, and which he had led onto the beaches, and the transport ships which had been anchored were being struck repeatedly by the storm, nor were any of our men given opportunity either in managing or assisting. And in these next lines here, reliqui has an assumed naves, which makes it mean the remaining ships. There's a cum clause here, which structures the next couple of lines. There's also an ablative absolute, funibus amicis, and nawagandum down here is a gerund, and it also, another important part is that it has ad here, gerund plus ad, which expresses purpose. And so the way you would translate this is, with several of the ships having been wrecked, the remaining ships with their ropes, anchors, and gears lost were useless for sailing. A great disturbance had been made, as is necessary to happen throughout the whole army. And in these next couple lines here, we have another gerund plus ad, which again expresses purpose. Omnibus constabat here means it was obvious to everyone, and inhiemum means for the winter. And when translating this, it is, for there were not ships of the type by means of which they could bring back, and everything was lacking which could be used for repairing, and because it was obvious to everyone that it was necessary for the winter to remain in Gaul, corn had not been provided in this place for the winter.